Hello and welcome to this edition of Filter Kaapi for all the news and perspective of what has been happening in South India. Kathua, Unnao and now Dachepalli in Guntur district of Andhra Pradesh. Yet another incident of atrocity against the girl child. And despite the POXO Act being amended, nothing really seems to have changed on the ground. And what the kind of reactions that happened in the last 24 hours in Guntur district has left one very disturbed. Joining me now is Executive Editor of NDTV, Uma Sudhir, who has been continuously reporting on the story. Now, Uma, give our viewers a sense of what really happened in Dachepalli, because of which we saw a whole lot of public outrage, civil society outrage against the incident.
This is a 9-year-old child who comes home. In fact, she is bleeding and her mother initially thinks that possibly this is menak, and then the child is complaining of pain as well, and then the bleeding doesn't stop, and then she has to be taken to a doctor. The doctor examines her injuries and says that she has been sexually assaulted. The mother then questions the child, and then we realize that this is a neighbor of the child, a 60-year-old man who has taken this child away, luring her with chocolate and sexually assaulting her, and then threatening her that if she says this to anyone else, he's going to kill her. He actually drops her back home. By this time, the news has spread about the sexual assault, and the man has fled. And outrage among the people, because this child fainted with all that bleeding that happened. Once she was rushed to hospital, stitches had to be put to stop the bleeding, and then in fact, this child had to be shifted to another hospital as well, because her condition was quite delicate. And people immediately came onto the roads. Public property was not destroyed, but such huge numbers coming onto the roads, and they demanded that this man must be immediately arrested, and they were demanding also instant justice. What happened in Dachepalli was they took out whatever the tires that they found in the roads. They were burning them. They went onto the state highway.
This happened last night.
This happened last night from about 8:45, 9 o'clock onwards till early hours, till about 4 in the morning. All of them were there on that highway. They blocked the highway. We are told the traffic was stopped. Almost a 15-kilometer kind of a traffic jam was created. And then the police came in and they said, please don't do this. We will try.
Just to let our viewers know that Guntur, the way it is geographically located, is almost on the Kolkata, Visakhapatnam, Chennai highway. So you can imagine the kind of disruption it would have caused. Yes, Uma, go on.
Yes, indeed. And, one would have thought that after this, if the man is arrested, things will kind of cool down. But the arrest did not happen. The man had fled. The man's son, in fact, was caught by this mob, some of who were demanding immediate arrest. But what is even more worrying is some of them were demanding instant justice. They said as soon as he is caught, he must be either hanged in public or he must be shot dead. Reflective of the kind of anger and frustration and no trust at all in the police ability or the law court's ability to be able to dispense justice in this case. And the son, in fact, had to be rescued by the police so that he is not beaten up. Of course, I must clarify, the son had nothing to do with this incident.
Yeah. So, Uma, basically, as you described this entire incident and the kind of reactions of the public to what had happened in Dachepalli, what is the administration saying now? What is the police? Have they been able to make any headway in locating the whereabouts of this accused?
In fact, they have deployed many special teams. They brought in additional security forces into Dachepalli. Despite that, there has been tension, I must say, in Dachepalli all through the day today. The security forces were there, but these, should I say, mobs, the angry protesters, went to the home of this man and, in fact, vandalized the home. They wanted to destroy that home, bring it down. They did that as well, even though the security forces were present. They went on to the railway track. A goods train was stopped. Sabari Express was stopped. They vandalized a few buses as well. All that reflective of the anger. I must point out here that yes, the victim and the accused happen to be from different communities, but this does not have anything to do with community. It has to do with the fact that a minor was sexually assaulted, and the fact that we don't know whether this man had a criminal history. The police telling us that there is no known criminal history, but we do know that very often when we find out about a child being assaulted, very often this man has had a history. He's he's become much more brave because he's done it caught before. He's not been caught before, and that's the reason he's dared to carry out this act with a child, a neighbor. And I must point out that there have been recent incidents, in fact at least 3 other incidents in Guntur district itself just in the last few weeks, and again of minors and of of people who are known to the child who have sexually assaulted the child and nothing has happened.
2 points here. You said that incidents have taken place just in the last 1 week. Is that the reason why this kind of explosion of anger, so to say, amongst civil society? Because nothing much was perceived to have been done by the administration to ensure these kind of incidents do not happen.
Actually, I must point out, wherever these things get highlighted, there has been anger. Recent incidents, even in Hyderabad, just the day before yesterday, we had a 15-year-old child who went to fetch water in a theatre right opposite her home. Irony that in a city like Hyderabad, where she was the neighbor of a deputy mayor, she was the neighbor of the deputy mayor of the city, Faziuddin, and this person did not have water in the house. Her parents are daily wage labor. This child went to fetch water from across the road. Her sister-in-law and all came away. She was waiting with the can. This man comes in, pulls her into the bathroom, sexually assaults her after putting cloth into her mouth, after stuffing her with cloth, and then leaves her there and runs away from there. This man has been arrested. In fact, that happens to be, we understand, the first case where after the amended POCSO Act, a case has been registered. But pointing to the increasing number of such cases, you are asking me what has the police done? They have deployed special teams in order to look out for this man. There are some reports that suggested that possibly he may have, because his last location was near the river, and therefore was he afraid of what the consequences and of being shamed. In fact, a top official was telling me that even his son tried to commit suicide out of the shame of what has happened. But what I am worried about is we have so many incidents that are reported. We talk about compensation, a few, the varying degrees of outrage and attention to the case depending on circumstance and location as well. What is happening? Where are these men coming from? They seem like normal men. Why aren't we addressing those issues? One is policing. Second is there is something seems to be wrong with the psyche of these men who are sexually assaulting
just amending the
child.
POCSO Act obviously has not been enough.
In fact, that has been a very controversial amendment. When you say, this age, this is the punishment, and if you're 1 year older, this will be the punishment. That's not something that has convinced people. It's not about how much punishment you're going to give. It's about the conviction rates that you're able to get. And if I may quote a case that we have reported on NDTV, this was another 8-year-old child who was sexually assaulted, and something as basic as it went to court, in fact, and I must say it was given a conviction in the Sessions Court, but then the High Court struck it down. Why? Because something as basic as a doctor's evidence had not been collected. So what is the accountability of the police officer, whether he is doing his job right or not? It is about the kind of evidence that you collect, the quality of the evidence that you collect. Something as basic as a doctor's evidence not being recorded became something against the
And in
child.
this case also it has become a bit political, with political parties of the opposition demanding compensation. I mean, is that also happening on the ground?
Compensation is something that is supposed to come to every victim of sexual assault. So that will also happen in this particular case. Yes, there's a YSR Congress MLA from that area. As of now, I would not say it's a political situation, but yes, of course, the opposition parties are going to talk about it. Chief Minister, we are told, has given specific instructions that the accused must be caught at the earliest, and it should appear that justice has been done in this case as well.
In fact, all eyes will be on the Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu and his government to ensure that justice is seen to be done in this particular case, because it's not just about the civil society outrage, but the manner in which the girl child should be made to feel that she is safe wherever she is, in every village, every town and city of whether of Andhra Pradesh or any other state in this country. That's it then on this edition of Filter Kaapi. Do like and subscribe to Filter Kaapi for all the news and perspectives from the south of India. Thanks for watching.